What's up? What's up? This is Cold Scorpio, and you're listening to the Awesome Wrestling Show. Get with the program!
Produced by the Cleveland Sound Radio Network. Here is the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show, hosted by Glenn Moore and Steve Guy.
Riding high off one of the best WrestleManias in recent memory, this week's Raw was a little bit of the same old Big Show Roman Reigns, same old Randy Orton versus Kane, and we get the same repetitive stuff, even though WrestleMania is supposed to hit the reset button and get some new matchups. I'm Glenn Moore, joined here by my co-host Steve Guy, as we are the This Is Awesome Wrestling Show right here on CLESound.com. Our interview this week is with Cold Scorpio. That's coming up after we dissect Raw and go over the big news. This week's Raw, Steve, I thought was a snore. Yeah, they had a lot of things going on with the national championship game for the basketball, but also you had, I think Better Call Saul was on the season finale. So you had some other options that you're trying to get some people to watch Raw. But you're not going to do it when you have Roman Reigns versus Big Show again, no Dolph Ziggler, no Daniel Bryan, no Authority. You have Kane in charge. You have a triple threat match. Randy Orton's a face. And Seth Rollins is great. No Brock Lesnar. But, dude, I was falling asleep within the second hour of Raw. I don't know about you, but it was a snore fest.
In Cleveland locally especially, there's a lot to go against because, we did have the Tribe too. I definitely was flipping Indians, Raw, championship game. Probably not in that order. Raw was probably last. I will correct you, Glenn. WrestleMania did not hit the reset button this year. It hit the play button. All right.
God. So it's continuing the terrible Roman Reigns versus
If anything,
Big Show.
we should have paused all the nonsense or stopped it and then hit play on a whole new.
It's like we're hitting rewind.
Era. Yeah, pretty much. A few bright spots. Adrian Neville, Seth Rollins, good match right there. If that's a preview of what the future really is, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm okay with this whole new John Cena take on the U.S. title. We're finally seeing a belt that's going to be defended week in and week out. Different challengers, going to give us different matches. That's something that we've all been craving and wanting. Yeah, it's John Cena involved, but whatever. It's John Cena versus a lot of people. We're always used to seeing John Cena main event guys. John Cena and Randy Orton. John Cena and Brock Lesnar. John Cena Big Show. This is good. This is giving us the opportunity to see a lot of people that we've never seen him perform with, and just all new matches. So I do like that. But otherwise, you're right. The main storytelling that we saw, oh, man, don't give it to me again. Come on, guys.
I don't want to waste a lot of time recapping Raw because there's a lot of non-Raw news to get into and talk about. But it's just terrible. It was just, like I said, I know there's a lot of things they have to go up against and they don't want to waste. But this is the week after WrestleMania. You had the biggest Raw rating since 2012, the Raw 1000. So that's the first big Raw in 3 years. You're coming off of that, and then you come up with this dud. I like the whole Neville Rollins deal. You knew Rollins was going to win.
Sure.
People are complaining that Neville didn't win. You're burying him. I don't think that's the case.
No, he went up in his second Raw. He went up against the heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
That's not burying him.
No.
And it was a fantastic match.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think it was a decent.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't say fantastic, but it was a good
match.
For
10 minutes, it was a good match.
Yeah.
But it kind of scares me, this whole Neville thing, because they don't use his full name. You have JBL at ringside calling Adrian Neville. He's not be called Adrian Neville. He is going to be called Neville. I don't get that. And I like the name, the man that gravity forgot, but they keep hounding it and over and over, and
as they do with most things.
It's gonna drive me crazy. I don't care. Like, it's cool to say it like in this promo or like promoting him, but
right.
Like for every single aerial move that has been done before by other wrestlers, you're gonna say, "Oh, the man that Randy forgot." When the Usos
fly out of the ring every time.
What?
Yeah.
Like what is? It's dumb.
Seth Rollins himself dives out of the ring.
Exactly. Like
yeah.
you please don't keep saying it over and over.
Yeah, I agree to that. And then as we were talking before, they need to decide the Miz Mizdow match. Did you put that on there to try and compete with the national championship game? If you felt like you couldn't, then why put that on there at all?
Yeah.
Because it's not like it was an amazing match.
No.
It was good. It added to what they're going to hopefully build towards. But yeah, I agree with you when you said, why not just put a little teaser on there? Because that wasn't the place for it. If you knew your ratings were going to be kind of dropped off because of the basketball game and baseball opening day, then yeah, just give us a little bit of a tease, something. Maybe you have a match between them next week, and maybe there isn't a clean pin on that, which, again, there wasn't this week, but maybe somebody gets disqualified or counted out and just more to add to it. That's what you need out of a Miz-Mizdown match right now if you're going to lead up to a pay-per-view style match.
There has to be a gimmick with this. There has with Miz and Mizdown. And I know people are listening to the first 5 minutes of the show, and we're maybe nitpicking a little bit, but this is what we do because we are more educated than probably the more, not to toot our horns, but we're more educated, more in the know than most other wrestling podcasts, to where we're not going to be like, oh, Raw is awesome, with Rollins, yay! Like, we are more into the know and more educated. So we're going to nitpick it because, A, we're falling asleep, and we're just echoing what other, I would say, smarks are saying online and other recaps, is this Raw was lackluster, and you're missing Daniel Bryan. You have no IC title on there. I mean, that would have been nice. It's probably on SmackDown, but this is Raw. This is your main program. And you have no Dolph Ziggler, so you don't have the two main, probably best workers in WWE outside of Rollins.
Right, no Ambrose.
Yeah, so if you're filling with matches, you have Big Show wrestle, you have Kane wrestle, you have Randy Orton, Ryback, and Roman Reigns do double duty on the show to fill in space. So I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I understand why Orton can be in the triple threat match. I understand why Reigns can be in the triple threat match. I don't understand why you throw Ryback in, is because to add some to have him take the pinfall.
Yeah, that's basically
is
that's
that
it.
Why? I mean, but
and that's essentially all it comes down to, realistically. Because I mean, what do? You can't just no longer will you put John Cena in that match.
Right.
It's got to be Reigns and Orton, or Reigns, Orton, and a third guy. But hey, credit them for not saying the third guy's going to be Kane or the Big Show and somebody from the Authority.
Yeah.
So at least we didn't see that again, I guess. I mean, part of my nitpicking too is just because of the whole entertainment creative brain and being a kid watching this.
Yeah.
But one idea I do have, maybe, and I'm sure this is probably not going to be the case, I may be giving them too much credit. I've stated here multiple times, I loved seeing Raw and SmackDown separated because WWE always needs somebody to compete against when they have this. So if you have a Raw roster and a SmackDown roster, there you have it. So maybe are we going to see SmackDown become more of the IC title show and Raw be the US title show? And then, the heavyweight championship just kind of bounces between depending upon who it's being defended against? I mean, that would be advantageous for them, I think.
But there's not enough stars to do that. There's not enough people to have two shows and two.
Yeah.
The only reason why SmackDown was so good back in the day, when it was Raw and SmackDown separated, is because Paul Heyman ran SmackDown, and he had a whole talent of SmackDown guys that were hungry to compete against Raw, like the Eddie Guerrero. He had Edge, JBL, guys that were maybe not main event guys right off the bat, but they were main event guys on SmackDown. And Paul Heyman had unique storylines. Mysterio, too. I mean, I don't like Mysterio, but they had some great matches with Edge, and you had like Lesnar. Batista was there, too.
A young John Cena, even.
Yeah, but like Raw is a main flagship, but SmackDown flourished because Paul Heyman was the main guy running the show. I don't care who you have on SmackDown if you separate it. If the creative team and booking are still as crap on both shows,
right,
it's going to be crap. People want to watch Raw to see the main guys of WWE. It's live TV. The ratings are higher. I just don't get the whole split. I don't think Vince is going to do that anymore. He realizes that was a mistake because you don't have Heyman in charge, and it got stale. But people want to see Bryan on Raw, and I think it's because they're going overseas. They're doing media tour for Dallas. I think Ziggler was tweeting about it. So was Bryan. So, I mean, I think it's just because of the timing, and they're going to be, have Raw in London. It's going to be a long trip. So I think they gave him a night off.
Yeah, there is a competing brand now, I guess, that I kind of forget about, and that's called NXT.
Yeah. But Vince they don't view it as competing, though.
Oh.
We do.
We do.
But they don't.
Yeah.
Vince doesn't see it. Vince went to his first NXT event ever at San Jose.
Yeah.
He did not like the Raw sucks and the WrestleMania better than WrestleMania chants.
That's too bad.
Because it
was not better than WrestleMania. I will say that.
But I'm saying he doesn't like that. He doesn't like viewing NXT as a competitor because he still views NXT as a territorial brand of developing guys. That's why they're not doing a live show every month. They would flourish.
Oh, yeah.
If they had a live show every month, but they're going to still do quarterly live shows. They're still going to do the tape stuff. But if they had a live show every month, it would be great. But they're not going to do that because Vince still views NXT. He doesn't want NXT to become bigger than Raw or SmackDown, even though the popularity is gaining, which is great because when you have Neville come up, Adrian Neville come up, when you have La Lucha Dragons come up,
yeah,
people know these guys already. The hardcore fans do.
Oh, they love Kalisto.
And there's not going to be quiet when Neville comes out and wrestles Rollins. People have a little bit of background of Neville already, a little bit of a background about Lucha Dragons, so they have a little bit of a background to cheer for. They know, oh, this guy is on NXT.
Right.
But Vince doesn't want NXT to become too big because he still views Raw and SmackDown as the two major brands. So
I still love the NXT mentality, which Finn Balor alluded to recently in a different interview, and even said the NXT roster views it as the main roster.
Which is great.
That's awesome.
I think
that's that competitive spirit that you were talking about that kind of flourished under Paul Heyman at a SmackDown.
But the thing is, are they going to? They're not going to admit that they are the development. They're still
sure
turning on.
There's a sense of pride there.
Yeah, but they want to be hungry. But the thing is, though, when these guys come up to Raw, they're still underneath that creative umbrella of crappiness to where, oh, we're going to take your first name away and we're going to give you a cape, and we're going to have your announcers repeat, the man that gravity forgot over and over until fans get sick of it, and then it's not going to work, and we'll give you a new gimmick, and then you're just going to die. I mean, that's what basically how it's going to go.
We know that they're bringing in new writers. A guy that we watched wrestle locally here through AIW, and Jimmy Jacobs, went to NXT, and the plan for him is to then go to the main roster to write. You can only hope that bringing in other fresh talent similar to him will kind of help get rid of this.
Well, the thing is, WWE, about the writers, they don't want people who wrestle as their main writers. They want people who are Hollywood writers.
Yeah.
They want people who have worked in movies and television and that are not wrestling fans. And believe me, I've talked to people that have said, like, why don't they have wrestling fans? So the qualifications are, have you worked on TV or in movies? Have you written scripts before? Have you written storylines? Yes. Okay, are you a wrestling fan? If they say yes, they're done. If they're not a wrestling fan, then they're hired on. Jimmy Jacobs will probably stay at NXT, but there is no storylines in NXT. I don't get that. There is no storylines in NXT. Maybe
there's a few smaller ones, like you look at a Sami Zayn.
Yeah, but an idiot can put those together.
And
there's
Kevin
nothing,
Owens,
there's nothing thought out. There's nothing
right. There's nothing long
because these are there's a live show every 4 months.
Yeah,
there's not like they have the tape shows, but there's nothing like
they do a great job of old school wrestling where the match tells the story.
Yeah, but it's just the storylines are just stale and something needs to be done. And I think, and this will transition over to Cena, the podcast with Jericho, which I thought was terrible, but he did have some kind of little bit of insight with Cena and the guys not quote unquote grabbing the brass ring. They're scared to take a chance, even though it's PG. And I think Cena did perfectly. There's rules, and you can dance around the rules and take a chance. If the crowd reacts nicely to your chance, taking a chance, they're not going to fire you. These guys now are worried about taking a chance, it backfiring, and then getting fired. Guys like Cena can take a chance because he's not going to get fired no matter what he does.
Right.
But guys like, maybe even like Ziggler, Ambrose, guys that can just be buried just like that, sort of sent down to SmackDown or just be cut off TV whatsoever, they don't want to take the chance because they realize that their job is on the line. There is no WCW. There is no second option to go into a different brand. It's either you follow the rules, don't take a chance, still get paid, you're on TV, or it's you take a chance, it backfires, and then you're gone.
Which is funny because that's pretty much, when you look at it, a great explanation of what happened or what likely could have happened with the Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
That guy didn't take any chances. Just went right by the book. Whatever they said, yes, boss, yes, sir. That's what I'll go out there and do. Took no chances, and he felt the heat for it.
Yeah, but the thing is with Roman is that he screws up on the mic, live TV,
Yeah.
and fans eat that up.
But
And
he's going to stay because he's following protocol.
Yeah, I mean, he looks the part. He plays the part. He just can't talk. But the thing is, though, he's still wearing his Shield stuff. He's still using the Shield. There's no identity.
Yeah.
And he was probably the third best of the Shield. Reigns was only used for signature moves in the Shield and to fill out the promos. It was the stars were Rollins and Ambrose. Reigns was just there to be the muscle, to do the triple power bomb, and to say, believe that, or whatever he said, believe in the Shield. I never viewed him as one of the top guys, but he is a monster. He is. Why don't take the fuck? Take the vest off.
Yeah, he's a guy you want to see take the chance.
We can swear in this because we got to put the explicit tag because Scorpio swears a lot, our guest. So why does he take the fucking vest off and get new music? Don't put contacts in. Why doesn't he blue eyes?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know what color his eyes really are. I'm guessing brown. I don't know.
It is brown because his interviews before he switched over to being on himself. He
Yeah.
had brown eyes, and they put blue contacts in
Right.
to give him the blue eyes. Nice, you know.
You fell in love with that long
no,
hair
I
and
didn't,
blue
but
eyes.
girls love it, but like it doesn't work. Like just let him be. Just take away the Shield music. Take away his vest.
We want to see what Roman Reigns can really be as Roman
Yes,
Reigns.
exactly.
Yes, that's what.
Don't force it.
And that's what I was saying too. Yeah, there's a guy that he was in the opportunity to take that chance because they put him out there, but he didn't take the chances.
Yeah.
That Cena was alluding to.
The thing is, I think ultimately Reigns is going to be like a Sheamus. They gave the ball to Sheamus. They gave him the title reign. Big storylines with John Cena. Big storyline with Randy Orton. And look what happened to Sheamus.
No,
nobody cared.
Yeah.
Nobody cared, and he went off TV for a while. He wrestled meaningless matches. He danced between being the heel and the face. And now look at him now. He looks like a fool.
But interesting that you bring that up because he has been getting a lot of heat, but he's been just saying, bring it on.
Yeah.
Whatever character he just kind of dove into, this could work.
It's still new.
It's still new, but I mean, he goes along with it even on Twitter.
Well, they
You
have
know,
to, yeah.
we've gone with the fella. Oh, I know, but guys somewhat deviate. You know, because he kicked Daniel Bryan, scratched his head or something. People were unhappy about that. Sheamus let him have it.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be it. We may have finally found something for Sheamus to do and do well.
It's been a week.
I know. I'm sorry. I like it so far. But look, the fact that I'm excited about Sheamus says something.
I think it's just going to die after a week or two.
The fact that I see potential in a Sheamus character says something about what he's done here in 2 weeks.
I don't know.
I don't want to see Sheamus and Mark Henry over and over again, though. I get it. He's strong.
Yeah. But what to see about Sheamus? So I think Cena did, talked about the guys not wanting, to do more because they're worried. Got to see that improve too. But moving on to Jericho podcast, I watched the whole thing. It was more of a sucking up to Cena, softball questions. We talked about steroids before with him. The heel turn, everybody knew about that. It wasn't any groundbreaking stuff like Jericho promoted. Bring back Stone Cold. Please bring back Stone Cold. And I know Austin wants to ask his own questions. It's his own show. Stone Cold takes no shit. Doesn't want to be told what to do. And we're in a day and age in WWE that the writers have control over everything. And Jericho still wants the door open with WWE, so he's not going to go against them anyway.
Yeah.
He still wants that big WrestleMania payday whenever he wants to come back and wrestle. Austin doesn't care. Austin's well off. He has his own TV show. His podcast is doing well. He does movies here and there too, guest roles. So Austin's doing well. Austin saves his money. Austin's well off. He doesn't need the podcast and WWE, but he doesn't want people to tell him what to do. But I say bring back Stone Cold because Stone Cold asked the hard questions. The whole China question pissed Vince off. That started a whole whirlwind.
Well,
but he had
depending
to start
on who depending on who you believe, because again, now we have the Jericho podcast last night. We also have the Austin podcast last night. Austin goes on there and says there's absolutely no heat. I wasn't supposed to be at WrestleMania. That's why I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Vince and I are fine, to my knowledge. Look, we tried to work out a deal for me to be on
which says
WWE Network. It didn't happen.
But the thing is, when he says that, they tried to reach the terms the terms are, I want to ask the questions what
play
I want to
ball.
ask.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm not going to give you the questions beforehand so you guys can scratch it off and say, no, 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 yes, yes. That was the big deal. Of course, Austin is going to badmouth the company on his podcast, but then again, he's not going to sugarcoat anything, but he's not going to come out and rip them or give them the reasons.
Do you think we got more of that on the Jericho podcast last night because of the fact that it was John Cena, the quote-unquote face of WWE?
Oh.
Had it been somebody else, we maybe would have gotten a little bit less, because obviously WWE knows that, look, Jericho just had R-Truth on there, and R-Truth spilled the truth, a few weeks ago, and there was a lot of revealing stuff there.
I think it was more of Jericho being a guy that has done a podcast format before. He can do it live. He's a good talker. He's a good storyteller. And having Cena on draws ratings. Obviously, that was like the third highest live program, non-pay-per-view program on the network. Of course, Cena's going to bring in people to watch. It hooked me to watch because I want to see if Jericho's going to ask some hardball questions.
Well, and I think maybe that's part of it too. Is they wanted to, they wanted to appease their WWE Network fans that aren't really into these podcasts on the regular and originally. So to them, it's like a whole new world of access. Oh, you're going to interview John Cena for half hour, an hour.
Yeah.
Outside of the ring, we're going to really learn something. It has a sense of total divas to it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So those fans are getting to see something they wouldn't ordinarily, and maybe they don't pay attention and realize, like, oh, if I just listen to Jericho all the time, I'll get these even more in-depth interviews.
But, but the thing is, though, Cena isn't going to go on Jericho's podcast probably.
Right, ever.
On
outside
podcast
of WWE
one.
Network.
It's going to be, They're going to let Jericho interview, like, The Miz and Heyman and Edge. They are big guys, but they're not restricted. They're not constantly media's watching over them, the PR people, because they don't want Cena to be asked tough questions that aren't pre-screened. That's just the way it is. Like, we will never get John Cena because, everything has to be pre-scripted because they don't want him saying anything that's going to make the media rounds or say anything that's going to, catch him off guard. If he stumbles, it makes him look bad. So that's usually how it goes with media. All right, let's play a guy that we interviewed that doesn't have a filter, doesn't have any pre-screen.
No filter whatsoever.
A man that was in town last month for AIW's a big event here in Cleveland. A man they know, you've known as Cold Scorpio, a man as Flash Funk, and a man that, like I said, has no filter. And this is a podcast interview that you may want to put your earmuffs on because he does drop a lot of expletives, and he does talk about weed, his drug use. So
no filter on what he says or what he smokes.
Yeah, so definitely take that into consideration. This is why we have the explicit tag on this week's show. But our interviews for this month are sponsored by
Weber Grills. Download the free Weber Grill app where you will find mouth-watering recipes and guides on tips and techniques for using your grill. Information will be delivered to your device weekly and are guaranteed to keep the fire burning. Go to Weber.com for more information.
All right, here is our interview with Cold Scorpio, and like I said, a little bit of a warning if you're not into swearing or talking about drug use. This is our interview with Cold Scorpio right here on This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. Welcome back. This is Awesome Wrestling Show here on CLEsound.com. A very special guest right now, a man that you've known him in ECW, WCW, WWE, a man known as Flash Funk, but also known as Cold Scorpio here in Cleveland, AIW. Cold Scorpio, thanks for joining us.
Woody whoop! What's up?
You are a man that's obviously well known. You've been in the business for so many years, and people know you on ECW.
30 plus years.
30 plus years. I'm sure we could sit here for 2 hours, more than that, and talk about all the stories you have. But is there a moment in your career that sticks out? And I know you're doing the indie scene right now, and you're past WWE and ECW, WCW. But is there a moment in your career that sticks out to you right now that is like that's a pinnacle moment of your career?
In all honesty, I would have to say, everything that I've done as far as this wrestling business, is out there. You know, what sticks out the most is probably ECW. You know, ECW was back in the day and shit where you didn't have to worry about, you know, the different cliques, the different groups, or what was happening in the locker room. Everybody was just cool.
Yeah, you think that, you've had a long, extended career, but do you think, looking back as you go through it, that's something that kind of annoyed you in terms of wrestling? You know, after coming out of, like, WWE, you're like, maybe it's not so bad because of that, and as you compare ECW?
Well, I think, you know, for me, when I got in this business, I started on the indie scenes. Run into a lot of the great stars out there, you know, once upon a time, you know, Colonel the Bears, you know, Coco Beware, you know, guys like that. You know, listen to them talking stuff and, you know, hearing them say, you know, indies, you know, is where a lot of them started, you know, on the indie scenes. You go up to the top, you do the WWF, you do the WCW, and before you know it, you're still doing the indies on your way out. So the same ladder you go on your way up, and you go the same ladder on your way back down. So for me, you know, on the indies, you have more opportunity to really showcase what you got compared to working with one of the big companies where you're limited to 3 minutes TV time. Try to squeeze it in.
Yeah. Cold Scorpio joining us from This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. Is there, obviously you've been on the big stage, WCW, ECW, WWE, you've been on the big arenas. Is there something unique about the indie scene? Is it the atmosphere, the intimate atmosphere? Is it the guys that are really hungry to make their names known, that maybe work a little bit, not harder, but they want to do a little bit more to make themselves stand out? Is there something unique about the indie scene that you enjoy?
For me, you know, on the indie scene, is just the unique thing about it is stress-free.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, most companies you work for are stress-free. And you'll be amazed on how many of the indie companies that's out there that actually run like a big league would actually do in the locker room, the way that they put out their products and stuff like that. So, you know, for a lot of people who's not into watching the indie scenes, is only used to watching the big shows, if you really want to see some real talent, you want to see some good wrestling, hey, indies is still where it's at.
Do you miss putting on the zoot suit as Flash Funk, or were you glad that was just, no pun intended, a flash in the pan? You got to go back to Too Cold Scorpio.
You know, the thing about it is I'm Too Cold Scorpio until the day I die.
Yeah.
You know, Too Cold Scorpio was the name that I built. You know, Flash Funk was a nice gimmick. It was a gimmick that Vince came up with. And just like he said, you know, it's going to take me 2 years to get it over. I said, I can get it over in a year. Did it in 4 months. So in reality, do I miss pushing on all that Flash Funk bullshit? Yes, I do not miss it at all. Not one bit.
And you saw like a guy like Brodus Clay who had the Funkasaurus, the 2 dancers come out. A guy that.
Now, what's up with
you
that?
You did have the ladies on
Now, what's up with that now? You know, was that a rib on Too Cold Scorpios? They bringing in a fat old person to come in and work the Flash Funk gimmick? Really?
Yeah. You are the originator, I believe, of the 450 splash, correct?
I am the innovator, the inventor. I am the man himself, Too Cold Scorpio, who's invented the 450 and then some.
Now, do you get kind of, not, I don't want to angry, but when you see guys use it now on the big stage or even indies, do you?
You know, my thing is all these young kids is out there that's doing it, that weigh about $125, soaking wet with a brick in their pocket. You better be able to hit the 450, because I was doing it at 260 with the best of them. So, you know, to me, I invented it. If you want to use it, please do. Just don't forget, Too Cold invented it.
Now, when a guy uses it and it's not a finisher,
that just sucks. How the hell you gonna kick out of a 450 on a damn high spot?
True that.
I like the way that you said that, you know, you were using it. You can't bust out the 450 anymore. You don't.
Man, I invented the 450. I can bust it out in my sleep on a fat heavy day.
I don't.
But the problem is you got so many people nowadays hitting the 450. Got people that can do the standing 450.
Yeah.
So when you have people that can do that now and just going to the top doing the 450, it's just another 450.
Yeah. Well, I mean that. I guess that happens in anything, in culture in general, you know, whether it be wrestling,
the
the evolution
kid, or whether it be whatever it be.
Yeah, sports, all of it, you know. I don't want to give away your age, because you are, to me,
hey,
right
give it away, man.
He's still in the business.
I know, 30-plus years. We're approaching 50, or are 50 now. Have you hit the 5?
Approaching 50.
Yeah.
This year.
How long you want to keep doing this?
until I can't do it no more. Until the guy says, "Hey, get your ass out and sit on the side rope and watch."
I don't know that anybody's going to. I mean, it's still
Well,
entertaining.
the thing about it is and shit, is I always believe that, if you feel that you still can go on and you still can perform and do the things that you used to do, okay, good, great, fine, and dandy. But when it comes to a point in time where, hey, I can't hit the 450, I can't hit the moonsault, maybe it'd be time to step down and do something else that has something to do within the wrestling business, but maybe it's not so much as in the ring.
Yeah.
Do you watch the product WWE at all now? Or no?
It's been a long time since I've seen any wrestling product, whether it be WWE or whoever.
Now, they're in a PG era. It's geared towards more kids.
PG era? So
Yeah.
what's that mean? No more tits and ass?
No,
Essentially.
no more puppies. No,
Yeah.
Ain't let the ladies fall out and
no
let the
more
ladies
blood.
hang out
There's
no more?
no more blood.
What?
No more chair shots to the head.
You really don't know?
Wow,
The PG era
I
at all?
really,
Oh,
I
being
really
an
don't know.
ECW guy,
So are
that's all out
are
the
they
door.
still drawing? Is anybody still going? Because most kids nowadays, it's beyond the PG stage. I'm sorry, but the kids nowadays, they like everybody else. Show us some good wrestling, some good old-fashioned ass kicking, and we're there.
Well, it's geared towards more now of little kids. It's more toward like Scooby-Doo fans. They have Scooby-Doo.
Oh, they
stuff
combine
like
with
that.
Scooby-Doo
It's
and
all geared
Flintstones,
towards
yeah.
kids. And the reason why I'm at and leading up to it is because you're an ECW where that would not be able to air on TV whatsoever now. I think it takes away because you can't. There's no blood. There's no over the top any moves anymore because guys are trying to protect themselves and everything. But it's geared towards more kids. I know you haven't watched or anything, but the things that you used to do in ECW would not fly on TV.
my thing is and shit, is a lot of the kids, a lot of fans that's watching the wrestling business today are going to be some of the future fans later on.
Yeah.
So my thing is it's all right at certain places at certain time for a little PG, but if you're trying to do PG 24/7, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
I don't think. This is my opinion. It's just too many guys out there, man. You got bad guys, you got good guys, you got heels that want to come out, want to cuss you, want to slap you down, shit like that.
Yeah.
But that's what made a heel. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you got everybody coming out to music. The good guy, the bad guy, you know what I'm saying? The clown in the 3-piece suit. I mean, it's all there and shit, you know what I mean? So, to me, as far as the PG, it's hard to say if that's going to fly or how it's been flying.
You made an appearance, 8 years ago for WWE in a Battle Royal for I think it was a 15th anniversary show or
On
something
Raw,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, some smalls ECW bite off with fake weapons. First time for everything.
Now, you had quite a few good runs in terms of tag teams.
Yeah.
I mean, with Ron Simmons, guys like the Sandman. Is there anybody? I mean, did you have a favorite tag team partner? I know you were with Ron a few times, or was there somebody maybe that you wanted to tag with and you didn't get to?
As far as really being a tag team partner, it was never really something that I really looked into.
Yeah.
It was something that I was thrown into.
Okay.
I've always been a single wrestler. As far as partner-wise, I would say Vader and me is probably one of the toughest and baddest tag teams probably out there. You know what I'm saying? Well, they used to say, big salt and bad pepper. You know what I'm saying? When we come, it's coming. You know what I mean? Other than that, I had a few great partners back in the day that I thought that might have worked out. One of my biggest ones, I would have said that I thought we could have went someplace, which turned out to be just a big pussy, was Bagwell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
He was here a couple months ago.
Yeah, Buff Bag.
Hey,
well, last year, yeah. Last
Buff
year
the
he was
stuff.
here. Buff the
Still
stuff
stuffing
was
his
here.
stuff, huh?
He is a gigolo now. He is
The
a male
gigolo. How the hell he be a gigolo?
He really is.
Damn, I ain't figured that one out yet. I have not figured that one out yet. All I can say is he better be a good 2-minute fuck then. Shit.
There has to be a story on the road that you can share with us that this is your internet, so you can say whatever you want.
It's not gonna get nobody in trouble or cause anybody to be divorced.
You don't get anybody in trouble, but something maybe that isn't out there, or something that maybe you don't
Well,
know.
a lot of the stories and a lot of things that I experienced on the road that's probably out there that some people probably heard, and some people probably hasn't heard. You still gonna have to wait to hear it when you read the book. You know what I'm saying?
Coming out?
Eventually, Scorpio's got a book coming out. My side of being in the wrestling business as Too Cold Scorpio, the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all got to come out.
And I saw I interview with Bill Apter. You mentioned that you wanted to have your own wrestling school. Is that correct? Have you?
Yes, that is still correct. I would like to find the right place and the right facility, perhaps to maybe open up a wrestling school. Talking with friends and family and stuff like that. Thinking of an opportunity of perhaps even going back home and maybe starting something out in Colorado. Down in Florida, you have a lot of things going on. You have a lot of wrestling, got a lot of people down there. If I could work out a contract or something with one of the bigger companies where I produce some of their talent, that might be a benefit.
Staying away from the cold in Cleveland, though, huh?
Yeah. Definitely staying away from the cold because it is just too cold up here.
But you are too cold.
Hey, too cold to handle, too hot to hold. And this weather up in Cleveland, damn, make me want to go. Back to Florida. Gotta go.
All right, final question. I know we're getting close to the doors opening and whatnot here. If the WWE Hall of Fame, one guy that comes to mind is Vader, and obviously you yourself too. I'd love to see Vader being a big guy myself, and Vader was my favorite wrestler growing up. But if the WWE came a calling and said Cold Scorpio, WWE Hall of Fame, is that something you?
I'm there. Without a doubt. You know what I'm saying? Hall of Fame? Shit, who don't want to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to be on the Legends deal?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's in this business who ever done anything in this business for themselves or to get other people involved in the wrestling because of your skills or your talent out there, I think you deserve to belong in the Hall of Fame.
I gotta ask, since you brought up the Legends deal. Now, WWE has their own network now. One of the things that they do is called the Legends House, where they throw everybody together and they all live together. Would you do that?
Can we smoke weed?
Probably not. I don't know.
Hell no, I couldn't be up in there with all them damn folks, man.
You and RVD up in there.
Me and RVD, man. Hey, shit, we'll have everybody in contact.
That would be great. That would be something to watch.
I mean, yes, then I would finally watch Legends House.
That would be like you guys in there with like straight edge guys like Lawler, who doesn't smoke, drink, or do anything bad.
Oh my God, he would probably lose his freaking mind.
I love Lawler. He's a good friend of the show.
As long as he's a good guy, but he damn sure would lose his mind off some contact high because we strictly smoking medical over here, y'all. So that's
how rampant was that back when you? I mean, is that?
For the ones who was used to doing it and creating spectacular high fly moves and stuff like that, it was a norm.
Yeah. Is that how the 450 splash got created?
Believe it or not, show you right.
420 splash.
Hey, 420 all day long, y'all. Watch out now.
All right, we gotta let this guy go. Doors opening. Mr. Cold Scorpio. Appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for having us on.
Gentlemen, thank you guys for having me on.
Cold Scorpio right here on This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. Make sure to go to AIWrestling.com for AIW's website and all their tickets, all their shirts, merchandise for AIW here in Cleveland. If you're in the Cleveland area, if you're in the tri-state area of like Kentucky, West Virginia, and also in Pennsylvania, make sure to come out to Cleveland. Short drive. You see some excellent wrestling every month here in Cleveland. Go to AIWrestling.com. We're going to be promoting their event coming up this month as the Young Bucks will be in town. Mickey James will be in town. Kurt Hawkins is going to be in town. Brian Myers, you know him as now. But these guys will be in town, and they're going to be wrestling at AIW's event in a few weeks. We're going to be there doing some interviews, so hopefully we'll have those for you at the end of the month. And all our interviews are sponsored by
Weber Grill. Join the Weber Nation community where you can share stories, recipes, photos, and participate in blogs. Go to Weber.com, the heart of Weber and the hub of Weber love.
I want to thank Weber Grill for sponsoring our interviews from WrestleMania. You guys can go back on our iTunes or CLEsound.com and listen to all their interviews. This past week we had Mark Henry, Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, and of course Cleveland's own The Miz on the show. And go back, listen to Seth Rollins, Adrian Neville, EC3 twice, Jerry the King Lawler, Grado, Johnny Gargano, just to name a few, Colt Cabana, and it was also, and of course, this week, Cold Scorpio.
I feel like I could picture Scorpio standing outside on a Weber grill, blazing one
oh my God.
in the summer.
my God.
He's a guy you want to have a backyard barbecue with, isn't he?
I hope Cold
Don't you
Scorpio
think
makes
so?
a return. Yeah. Makes a return this summertime so we can do something with Too Cold Scorpio.
Come grill out with us and Too Cold Scorpio.
BYOW, bring your own weed. Oh my God. We do not condone illegal drug use here in the This Is Awesome Wrestling show.
Yeah,
But,
it is still illegal here in Ohio.
Yeah, but we cannot stop others from doing it. But we do not do that during the show, just to let you know.
Right, correct. We do not.
We don't want to scare away potential sponsors.
I'm not thinking up of the 420 splash over here.
No. That's right. That was great. All right. Two things before we wrap this baby up. And next week, we may have a special guest in Gary Barnage from the Browns joining us to talk some Browns recap WrestleMania. And we may talk some football. We may not. Who knows with Gary. But Gary's a good guy, good wrestling fan. We hung out with him.
Maybe Gary can explain to us the tactic behind performing a proper spear in football. I don't know. All the former football players use it.
Yeah. But he's a good guy to talk to about wrestling because he's a big fan. And him, D'Angelo Williams, were at WrestleMania. So we'll talk to him next week right here in This Is Awesome Wrestling Show. And then we'll have John Thorne to promote AIW. And then look for interviews with Mickey James, the Young Bucks, Veda Scott. We want to talk to Kurt Hawkins. So we may have some big-time interviews next month or two right here on CLEsound.com. All right, two things. AJ Lee, she gone, hanging up the boots, going to be playing housewife with CM Punk now. She's done. Now, we had this debate before the show. I thought she was the top girl in the Divas division. That was terrible. That is terrible. Her last year of wrestling has been awful. Her WrestleMania match was awful. And her last Raw match just seemed like she just did not want to be there, which is okay. Get out when you don't want to do it anymore. But I don't think her legacy is as big as people are perceiving it. She was just the big fish in a very, very small pond.
Well, I still think she has a pretty solid legacy going out. WrestleMania and Raw, we now know that she already knew she was going to be gone. So I get it, the disinterest. Plus, from a writing standpoint, you're not going to put her in a position where you're going to carry on some storylines. That being said, was she the best in a small pond? Yeah, absolutely. But I also think that her wrestling carried that Divas division for some time, hence why she was the longest reigning Divas champion in WWE history. Divas champion, of course, not the women's champion. Between her, Natty, and then Paige coming along, those were obviously the best female wrestlers. And I do think from talking to Sasha and from hearing what other NXT women have said, while AJ maybe she couldn't compete with Alita. Maybe had these NXT girls been on the main roster now, AJ wouldn't have been the best. But because she was the best wrestler out there, and she wasn't, I don't know, the most well-endowed, she did show us that wrestling in the Divas division still mattered. And that does open the door for girls like, you got to remember, Sasha, Paige, a lot of these girls, Jasmine, who just is getting signed, and we've seen at AIW, they are all much younger than an AJ. So that's why I say that she kind of opens the door for females like that, because those girls are now growing up or grown up, and they're going to get into this. And she does open the door for females like that, I think, as opposed to, hey, I got to come in and have huge, ginormous boobs, and oh, by the way, then learn how to wrestle.
Well, I think it's more just the fact of this so-called legacy that she's leaving. Like she's some equivalent to a Brock Lesnar for the women's division.
Sure, which she's not.
Yeah,
yes.
She was not. And when I think of a girl that's going to leave a legacy, I think of storylines and wrestling. Storyline-wise, the whole crazy psycho chick lasted a good 2 weeks, where she kissed Kane, CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan. That lasted 2 weeks before it got stale. She did the wedding thing with Daniel Bryan. That was more of a gimmick. That was one of probably Bryan's low points of his career. And then you had her be the GM of Raw for, a week or two?
Yeah.
Before that was awful and terrible. But then she was a decent wrestler, but I don't think the legacy is left is people are crying about her leaving. Sasha Banks, Paige, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, girls like that are going to come up. They are going to have a bigger impact, I think, because they're actually going to bring some wrestling when they get the chance. And I hope they take away this Total Divas segment on Raw. That's what it is. It's just a big promo for Total Divas. I know the Bellatrix are good to look at, but Jesus, you want to give divas a chance. Once you give the girls wrestlers, diva wrestlers a chance and have some great matches, because the match here in Cleveland for NXT was
phenomenal.
It was a main event status, and they gave them some time to wrestle.
I think that's what AJ's legacy will be. You know, you had Trish and Lita, who really set the bar, set the standard of what the division could be, and then they were gone, and you just kind of had, it was just there and became stale.
Yep.
And AJ reminded us of that. I don't think that she's as great of a performer as Lita ever was, storyline or in the ring. Do I think she's as good of a wrestler as Trish? Absolutely, hands down. Storyline, maybe. Personality, maybe not quite as much. But she brought us back to remembering, oh yeah, that's what women can also do. And she elevated that again. So it's like, you just weren't, you went up a step with Lita and Trish in that time frame, and then you went nowhere. You were just kind of on a, what do you call those? Where the staircase kind of meets in between. A little landing. You're like
plateau.
a landing for the staircase,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, a little plateau. And now you got to go to that second set of stairs. And that's what AJ brought us back to. Like, hey guys, here's a step up.
She's not going to be missed. That's what I'm saying. She's not going to be missed.
Yeah, short run. Maybe.
A little bit.
Long run, no.
But the next girl that comes up from NXT better grab onto the reins and show us that.
Well, that has to happen quickly.
Yeah, it has to happen now, and not give Cameron or
because,
Naomi
because
time.
like we've said, if you bring up another girl, and even if she is better than AJ, she is still stuck with the same people that AJ was stuck with.
It needs to transfer over to Paige being the featured girl, and then having someone from NXT start some kind of storyline with her. Keep the Bella Twins doing their thing, but don't give them the main title. Don't, just because they have boobs and they're on Total Divas. But,
well, one of them has them.
Yeah. Well, they're both smoking hot, but
right.
But yeah. One person that we are missing is Michael Cole. Never thought I would say that. Byron Saxton is awful.
Terrible.
You match him up with it makes Michael Cole, who I think is better as a heel than he is a good guy announcer. You have JBL and Booker T, who are awful in my opinion. JBL adds some comedy here and there, but it's mainly Vince feeding it to him. But then you have Byron Saxton. Neville's appearance, there's supposed to be excitement. I wasn't excited because of the commentary. And I was thinking of NXT. You have what? You had Alex Riley. You had Tensai or Albert, whatever you want to call him, doing commentary. You have a guy, I don't know his name, the main color guy, the main play-by-play guy. I don't know his name, but he's good. The thing is, though, with NXT, I'm excited because the announcing is good, too. It's the whole presentation. For Raw, for Rollins, and for Neville, which is like an NXT kind of like an all-star match, it didn't feel like that way because the commentary was terrible. I wasn't amped for it.
Yeah, it wasn't good. If Byron Saxton is being groomed to be the next play-by-play guy, he's got a long ways to go. I now understand on SmackDown why it is Cole, Saxton, and JBL. Lawler. I'm sorry, yeah. Because Byron Saxton's not ready to go play-by-play. Feasibly, it should be, probably at this point, if SmackDown's your secondary show, it probably should be Saxton and Jerry Lawler. But Saxton, he can't do the necessary stuff to carry that comedy and the color commentary.
It's not a work. This is not a gimmick. This is Saxton for real.
Yeah, he's not so good.
This is not like
is it nerves?
Part of a storyline. He's just not a commentary. He's a bad guy announcer on SmackDown. Then you're going to have him be the good guy on Raw.
He has to be the straight guy. Yeah, it's not even about good or bad. He just has to be the straight man and let everything else happen around him.
But he's monotone. Oh, Neville. Oh, what a move. Oh, pinfall. Oh, it's just monotone, straight.
Do you remember in Major League 2 when Harry Doyle had too much to drink?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm in the bag. Take it. Exactly.
That Monty Coleman.
Monty, yeah. Take it away, Monty.
It's exactly like him. And it doesn't make you feel excited. Like when Neville came out for his initial appearance, it was, like he didn't even call the red arrow. Like he just said, pause, red arrow hit, match over. Oh, Neville gets to...
Maybe you're afraid to make mistakes. Look, it happens. But then, do it. I've made mistakes on this show. I called Destination America Discovery America once. But whatever.
But I don't know, but something has to be done, and bring back Cole, but bring back JR for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What is wrong with?
Don't get me wrong. Michael
Jeez.
Cole did earn himself a vacation.
Oh yeah.
Or if he's having back surgery legitimately, he should absolutely go do that. But
Yeah. But
boy, do I miss him.
Yeah.
He's worked straight for a long time.
2 days a week straight. He does the interviews with the weekly interviews with Triple H. He's a busy guy.
I feel like it's been years since we've seen him off the air.
Yeah, but I mean, if Cole comes back as heel Cole, like he's pissed about Lesnar, pissed about like being hurt, okay, I don't mind it. But please, Saxton, get off my TV, because I think if you had Cole, and I think of like JR calling Rollins versus Neville, like the commentary matters.
It does, yeah.
And if JR called that, JR would put Rollins over a lot, put Neville over, and it would be even better presentation-wise. But when you have Saxton, Neville, the man that gravity forgot every 5 seconds, that's all he says. I'm just like, I need to mute this.
There's a reason why we think back to the Attitude Era and think about all these great matches, and a lot of it isn't just the match, it's the commentary itself. There's a reason why we always still quote JR, albeit in a goofy kind of manner, but it's because he made the matches and the moments memorable.
Yeah.
You remember Mankind falling from the cell and things like that because you have JR sitting over there. Yes, God is my witness.
Yeah.
He's broken in half. Things like that. He may be dead.
Yeah. But it adds to it.
It adds to it.
It
and
adds
that's
the
what
realism
makes
to it.
You put that together with the match, and that's what makes you remember it.
Yep. All right. We're going to wrap it up. Next week, we going to delve into more about Raw. Hopefully Raw is better. SmackDown as well, if anything happens on SmackDown. AIW in a couple of weeks here, we're going to be promoting that. We'll be doing some live interviews from AIW's Gauntlet for the Gold. Coming up, Young Bucks are going to be there. They're a indie sensation. Also, Mickie James will be in town. Talk about a woman that is a great wrestler.
Yeah.
Mickie James is a girl.
Right,
that
yeah. I should have put her in that era with Trish and Lita. Yeah.
And they had some great storylines. The whole hot lesbian action storylines with
all right, I didn't
Trish
mean that. Again,
and Mickie. Hey,
storylines were questionable.
Turn heads. More ways than one. But
unbelievable. Glenn, are you hungry?
We do have the explicit tag on the show, so we can't get away with that. I miss Eric Bischoff. Hot lesbian action. That was great.
Oh, good God. Are you hungry?
No. Why?
Oh, you don't want to head to Weber Grill Restaurants?
There's not one here in Chicago if we're going to Chicago.
Yeah, or we can go to the home of the Final Four in Indianapolis.
Ooh, we can.
We could.
Why is that, Steve?
I'm just saying, because Weber Grill Restaurants are pretty good, and they happen to be helping us out and sponsoring the interviews of this show once again. Just want to remind you, enjoy the flavors of charcoal grilling all year long at Weber Grill Restaurants. Stop into one of 4 Midwest locations, as we mentioned, in Chicago or Indianapolis. Visit WeberGrillRestaurant.com for addresses and directions, and sign up for the new Grill Club, where you can earn great loyalty awards.
And make sure that visit their website, Weber.com.
Yeah, WEBER.
Yes, one B. We will be hopefully maybe in Chicago, maybe.
Sure, Sue. Why not?
Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And if we are in Chicago, if you are going to Chicago for Extreme Rules, make sure to check out the Weber Grill Steakhouse location in downtown Chicago. There's also in the suburbs of Chicago, so make sure to go there and check it out if you are going to Extreme Rules, and tell them that the This Is Awesome Wrestling show sent you, and makes us look good.
Yeah, but dress nice.
Yes, please. Please, please. Do not go there wearing camo shorts, flip-flops, and a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt.
And your BSR hat.
Please, go there dressed nicely.
Look appropriate.
If you're going to wear a Stone Cold shirt, please put a tie on at least over the Stone Cold shirt like Stone Cold did.
Yeah, maybe wear the vest, the sleeveless vest, like it's a jacket.
Put a bow tie on. Something.
Yeah.
All right? Put a black jacket on. Just please dress well. All right, we'll talk to you guys next week right here on CLE Sound. Make sure to check out all the rest of the shows. Worthy of the Jersey, Take 3 are 2 fantastic shows if you're into sports and talking about general news around Cleveland, but also nationally. With those shows, also other shows on the network. Check them out, CLEsound.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Rate us, comment, leave a rating for us on iTunes. Go to Stitcher. We're on there. You can download our show weekly and be reminded when we post a new show. So we will talk to you guys next week right here on CLEsound.com. Steve, final thoughts?
Nope, nothing here. Just follow us on the Twitter, Glenmore CLE and The Steve Guy.
And we will see you guys next week right here. And This Is Awesome Wrestling Show.